Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the brand new 2023 X1 xDrive28i in the new color. It's Cape York Green. It's a new chassis code either. This is not a G chassis. It's the U11 chassis, which means it shares its platform with, I believe, a Mini Countryman or Clubman, whatever is the bigger SUV one for Mini. So obviously brand new redesign of the X1. Lots of things to talk about and discuss. So as you can see, new front end, new grills, new headlights, new halo lights. So they sort of look like the 3 Series Angel Eyes. It's obviously a much more aggressive front bumper. This is the X-Line version of the X1. So there's 3 flavors. There's the basic one, the X-Line, and the M Sport. So this is our HEA, or demonstration model, for the X1. We'll take in Cape York Green momentarily. So now we've got, now this is something odd here. Obviously these are the 18-inch wheels. They are style 866. However, they appear to be missing something. The aerodynamic portion of these wheels, which may have been left off at the factory. I'm not sure what's going on here, but you go online and try and build your own X-Line X1 with 18-inch wheels, the standard wheels. This is not what they look like. It seems it's missing a bunch of it. Especially around here, there appears to be a piece that goes basically around the wheel to fill in like the arrow for it. But obviously the 18-inch wheels look ridiculously small on the X1. So if you are getting an X1, I would recommend at least the 19-inch wheels. There's also a 20-inch wheel option, which I believe is on the M Sport package. But 18s look really, really tiny. And here's the side profile of the X1 xDrive28. So here's the side profile of the X1 xDrive28i. So it's powered by a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbo engine, 241 horsepower and 295 torques. It's an improvement over the previous generation X1. There's a lot to take in. So out back, you'll notice there are no exhausts at all. So there's no exhaust there here shown. So it's basically underneath the bumper there. I believe with the M Sport, you'll get sort of that dual exhaust. Obviously here we got redesigned taillights, of course. We'll take a look at the trunk later on. And take in our Cape York Green, which basically is oxidized copper. It's how, it's been a while since I've seen the Statue of Liberty in person, but that's sort of the impression I get from this color. An oxidized copper, if you will. But definitely an interesting color. So B&W is experimenting with a lot of these different colors here. So we have the satin aluminum mirror caps as well for the X-Line, which look decent against the Cape York. And some aero stuff there as well. So it's the door handles coming straight off the i4iX 2 Series Coupe. This is what it's going to look like for aerodynamic purposes. Now opening up, we are greeted with Oyster Sensatec. This is the Sensatec 2.0. And it looks pretty damn good. So obviously redesigned seats. Upholstery looks pretty good. So one thing missing, of course, is leather. Leather is no longer an option. There are, I think, 5 different interior color options available to you, all going to be related to Sensatec. We'll try and get them all on the channel eventually. It's an interesting door handle choice here. Doesn't go all the way against the door, just sticks out here. Yes, we do have Harman Kardon available here on the X1. Alright, so obviously it's iDrive 8. No surprises there. We have the eucalyptus interior trim here, which is sort of a dark brown wood trim, which looks pretty good. Steering wheel is brand new. And then we've got our wireless charging port here available, where you can put your phone, couplers there. It's sort of like a floating console here, reminiscent of the iX. There's no iDrive controller. So you're probably thinking, well, how the hell do you interact with anything, especially come from BMW? Basically, touchscreen or voice commands. That's the only way you're going to get there and use iDrive 8 in the X1. Now, BMW has told us that's because most of the X1, or at least a lot of the X1 buyers, are new to BMW. So if you don't have that muscle memory built in, it's probably not going to be a big deal. But you can get to everything you need to use with the voice commands or the touchscreen, of course. How you get there is going to be kind of an ordeal if you're... So you notice you do have the parking assistance button up here. Hazard lights are down here. Volume control here, wheel just like the iX. Modes are basically the sport, comfort, etc. So we press that. Got personal, sport, and efficient, which I believe is reminiscent of the iX. Then you have a quick access button to the driving assistance features as well. Notice there's no parking gear, just like in the iX. You have to hit the parking brake to activate parking gear. You do have USB-C ports right here. So this is a welcome change, I think, from BMW. Controls up here. So a redesigned wheel here to get you to your media. You can change the setup of the display by pressing that button and using the wheel here to select things. Volume buttons up there, music/media button, voice command, telephone. Over on the left, the cruise control stuff. Now, it doesn't have the active cruise control. I believe that's coming later on in the build for the X1, so this is obviously one of the first ones built. So let's talk pricing. So starting price of the X1 xDrive28i is $38,600, $650 for the metallic paint. Sensatec is included. $4,200 for the premium package, which gets you a lot of different things here. And for the first time ever, you can see we do have blind spot detection. Imagine that. 2023 finally get on the X1. So another $500 for the X-Line package. Heated front seats and steering wheel, another $550. And basically we have the wheel locks, the projector. All told, MSRP of $46,120. Now I do note the Harman Kardon sound system, which is on the premium package, I believe, doesn't have any adjustments for the equalizer. So we go and hit the home screen button here, go into the apps, then we go into the system settings. You go to sound. So you have basically adjustments for treble and bass, enhanced sound, whatever that means, volume settings, and there's no equalizer. It's a little disappointing given that it is Harman Kardon. But overall, a big improvement over the previous generation X1. So we also have the Sensatec dashboard as well. We'll take a look at the back here. I'm going to open up the moonroof here so you guys can take a look at that as well from the back seat. All right, so there's your back seat. We'll get in and take a look. So we do have USB charging ports down here, USB-C I should say. So above me, we've got our panoramic moonroof, which is actually pretty roomy as well. So in terms of room, there's plenty of leg room and knee room here for passengers. And, let's scroll this around here, plenty of headroom for rear seat passengers, which I think was maybe part of an issue with the X1 previous generation. It's a pretty big improvement. And the other big change is that this, I believe, at least for the US market, is the only BMW with a dual clutch transmission. So it does not have shift paddles, which I believe are on the M Sport package, but if you want DCT action, you gotta come down to the X1, guys. I will take a look at the trunk as well. So pretty good room in the back. You also have a standard space saver spare. Now this is added because basically the run flat tires, they are going away. I think what BMW has found, and at least other manufacturers have found, is it's actually the worst part of the car in terms of pollution. Those run flat tires are not very, very good for the environment. So you're back to non-run flat tires. All right, and we'll take a quick little walk around Cape York green so you guys can take that and take it in, out of the sun and in the sun. It's a pretty interesting color. There's also a bunch of other different colors available for the X1, which will be new. One of them is Utah Orange. You have one of those on the way. There's also a frozen pure gray option, which you've had on the channel in the guise of the M850i Grand Coupe. And we'll have a little variety between X-Line base standard model as well as the M Sport. So hopefully we'll have all those on the channel. I don't know eventually soon, but eventually. But that's it for a quick tour around the brand new 2023 X1 xDrive28i, and we'll see you next video.